She pulled away. She left you on read. She slowed her replies, shortened her tone, shifted from warmth to frost without warning. And you felt it. That gut punch, that emotional drop. Most men panic here. They send the follow-up text. They ask, "Did I do something wrong?" They try harder, give more, fold themselves up smaller, hoping she'll notice, hoping she'll come back. But the Stoic man? He does none of that, because he knows the truth. Her silence isn't a loss. It's an opportunity. It's the signal to step back, go quiet, and let her feel what it's like when your presence is no longer guaranteed. Because when a woman ignores you, it's never about you. It's about control. It's a test. It's a play for power. And nothing dismantles that ego faster than your indifference. Not anger, not arguments, but pure, steady silence. She wants you reactive. She wants you scrambling to earn back what she's withholding. But when you don't chase, when you don't flinch, explain, or beg, you don't just confuse her, you crack her ego. Because now, she's the one wondering. Now she's the one off balance. She expected emotional chaos, but got discipline. She expected to be the prize. But now, you've stopped playing the game. That's the move. That's the moment her illusion of power begins to collapse. You destroy her ego by doing the one thing most men are too afraid to do. Nothing. You don't double text. You don't check her story. You don't leave a breadcrumb to let her know you're still thinking about her. You become unavailable. Not to spite her, but to respect yourself. Because a man on a mission doesn't orbit a woman who can't communicate with respect. And hear me clearly, the strongest response to being ignored is silence paired with self-elevation. If you're serious about building something real, something no one can take from you, type "elevate" in the comments right now and subscribe to the channel. You don't sit in that pain. You rise through it. You transmute it. You hit the gym. You build the business. You focus so hard on your growth that the silence becomes your sanctuary. That gap she created, you fill it with muscle, money, mindset. You become dangerous, not because you're violent, but because you no longer chase approval. That's the man who haunts her. Not the one who begs, but the one who vanishes. The one who glows up quietly. The one who let her go without needing closure. And make no mistake, she'll notice. Not instantly, but eventually. When the men she chose instead crumble under pressure. When she compares their desperation to your distance. When she realizes no one else made her feel quite the way you did. Not because you were perfect, but because you were real. Because you had presence. Because you walked like a man who didn't fear loss. You want to know how to act when she ignores you? You upgrade. You evolve. You disappear from her life and reappear in her mind stronger, colder, untouchable. You leave her ego starving, not from cruelty, but from absence. Because the more she expected you to react, the more powerful your silence becomes. And maybe she comes back. Maybe she sends that "Hey stranger" text. Maybe she tests the waters. But by then, the man you've become doesn't flinch. You've built so much in her absence, you now see her silence as a gift, a filter, a blessing in disguise. You don't rush to respond. You don't fall back into old habits. You let her sit with the discomfort she tried to hand you. That's how you flip the script. That's how you destroy the ego that thought it could play with you and walk away. You become so elevated, so detached, so focused, that any woman who once ignored you now questions her entire decision. And if she doesn't return? Even better. You've freed yourself from someone who thought manipulation was love. Who thought distance was power? Who thought your validation was owed? The Stoic man knows this. His attention is sacred. His time is gold. And a woman who treats him like an option loses the privilege of access, not out of bitterness, but out of standard. And here's the deeper truth most won't tell you. When you stop chasing, when you stop explaining, when you stop reacting, you don't just take her power away. You reclaim yours. That's self-respect. That's the real prize. That calm, that's the new currency. You realize you were never asking too much. You were just asking the wrong person. And now, you give yourself what you sought from her. Validation, focus, energy. You become self-sourced, self-contained. She ignored you, but you used that silence as a forge. She pulled away, but you used that distance to sharpen your discipline. She underestimated you, and you let her. Because now, your life speaks louder than her games. And one day, maybe she sees the man you've become and wishes she stayed. But that version of you, he's not looking back. He's too busy becoming someone no one will dare ignore again. Because the real flex isn't walking away with noise. It's walking away with peace. No closing statement, no dramatic speech. Just silence that echoes louder than words. That's what breaks her ego. Not that you got mad, but that you got better. That she was no longer part of your blueprint. That her games couldn't reach the man who finally learned how to detach with dignity. And now you've built something sacred. The ability to stay calm in chaos. To walk with fire beneath stillness. You no longer fear her absence. You respect it. You use it. And that right there is the skill that will carry you through every storm, every heartbreak, every loss. Not how to win her back, but how to never lose yourself again. That's Stoicism. That's power. And that's exactly why the next time she tries to test you with silence, you'll welcome it. Because now you know what to do. You don't chase. You don't flinch. You nod and build. And here's what most won't admit. The moment you stop giving her the power to affect your mood, your identity, your peace, is the moment she starts to feel powerless around you. Not because you took something from her, but because she never really had it to begin with. You just hadn't taken it back yet. Every woman who tests a man, but when what she finds is a mountain, still, unmoved, focused, she either respects it or walks away. And either option is a win for you. Because you're not here to be liked, you're here to build. You're not here to be picked. You're here to choose. And now, you choose silence over chaos, purpose over validation, mastery over reaction. You're done trying to decode mixed signals. You don't speak that language anymore. You speak action. You speak distance. You speak the truth of a man who's finally free. The one who never lets a woman's ego become the author of his story again. And if you're ready to keep walking the real path, the hard one, the good one, make sure you subscribe.